Right, so I know the title of this video is going to be quite alarming to many of you watching this right now, but however, please bear with me while I try and explain to you guys my thought process, and I've been thinking about this over the past couple of days. I think there's a decently good chance that Jon Jones has secretly failed a USADA drug test, and he's not telling any of us, and I'm going to try and explain to you why I might believe that somewhat in this video. I'm not saying this is 100% true. I'm not accusing Jon Jones of doing it and saying that he should be punished. I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner here. I'm just a guy that's having a little bit of a think to myself and putting together some pieces of puzzles, and I hope you guys maybe feel like it might be a plausible idea by the time that this video is over. So I'll tell you how this started. Someone in my live stream chat, this was not an original thought of mine. I'm not going to come out and say that I thought of this all by myself. Someone in my live stream chat, and if anyone remembers who that person was, try and put it in the comment section below. And if you are that person that was in my daily MMA Q&A live streams that I do every single day, by the way, tune in if you want to. If you are that person, comment down below, and if you see the person that you know said this in my chat because it was a moment in one of my live streams, please like the comment so I can know who it is, because they deserve the credit here, because it's a very unique thought that they came up with. They said to me, what if Jon Jones secretly failed a USADA drug test? That's all I needed to see, and my mind started turning the wheels and grabbing little bits of the jigsaw and putting them together, and now I think I've got a little bit of an argument here to support my idea. Jon Jones might have secretly failed a USADA drug test and none of us would know about it whatsoever. There's a good chance that that happened, and I'm not saying it's an 100% chance. I'm not coming out here and saying that Jon Jones should be punished because I know he has done this. I'm saying that there is a really, really good chance when you think of all the things that are going on right now with Jon Jones. I'll tell you this. USADA has a rule where if you test positive for something, they aren't allowed to break that to the public. That has been a rule in USADA since some guys started arguing that once a tainted supplement has been caught in their system, they got tarnished with being a steroid abuser for so many years after it happened, even though they never did anything. So you know what USADA said? They said, you know what? Until we know for certain what's going on, we're not going to reveal any information to the public, and if the fighter wants to reveal information to the public about the USADA investigation, then that's up to the fighter, and if the fighter does reveal information to the public about a USADA investigation, then we will come forward with what we know about the situation. And that's what USADA said a couple of years ago, since a lot of guys have had their careers tarnished by a tainted supplement or two. That's something in USADA right now. That's undeniable. They're not allowed to tell us if someone has tested positive for something until they know for 100% sure that it's meant in order to enhance their physical abilities in the cage, because we know how this works. They talk about picograms. There's a certain level of something in Jon Jones's system where they don't want him to compete, but they also don't think that it physically enhances him, and they don't think that he intentionally took it. So I am not saying that Jon Jones is steroid abusing right now. I don't think that's the case, but I am saying this. He may have actually failed a USADA drug test, and this entire time off has just been one big ploy, because I'll tell you this. They're not allowed to share information to the public, so we would not know anyway. So it could be going on right now. We would not know. It's not like USADA comes out every single fight and says, hey, Jon Jones didn't fail any USADA thing, so we're not doing anything. Like, it's still up in the air right now. We don't know. And we will never know, maybe. Who knows, to be honest with you. I would like to know, in all honesty. In the future, I would kind of like to know if there's some kind of inkling after maybe 6 months, USADA should maybe come out and say, hey, we found this in his system, but it's okay. But make sure that they say, but it's okay, and make sure that they also know USADA this is. Make sure that USADA also knows that it's nothing bad in their system. But just let us know if it's happening, in my opinion. That would be a nice thing to do. But still, Jon Jones starts this year in February against Dominic Reyes. Arguably loses the fight to Dominic Reyes. I thought he lost the fight to Dominic Reyes. Some people think that Jon Jones won the fight against Dominic Reyes. I don't think that whatsoever. I thought he lost 3-2. I'll just mention that one more time. But still, lost his fight to Dominic Reyes, ended up with his hand raised at the end of it because of the judges. Never mind, vacates the belt after that and has Dominic Reyes fight Jan Blachowicz for the interim title, or the vacant light heavyweight title. And Jon Jones dips out of the division to move up to the heavyweight division. Jon Jones. First of all, it wasn't even that. So I want to go back even further here. Just get really back to the start of everything where things started really raising alarm bells. Jon Jones, after his fight with Dominic Reyes, claims that he's going back to college and he's going to fight crime on the streets and be a vigilante. That's not a guy who's focused on his fighting career right now. That's not a guy who thinks he has a title defense in 6 months coming up. Jon Jones knew he would have a hiatus of about a year, I believe. That's typically the USADA suspension for when you've popped for something that they don't think is right. Like when guys smoke weed and it ends up in their system, they'll get suspended for a year, or maybe 9 months, or maybe 6 months. But Jon Jones went back to college, started doing this whole vigilante stuff on the streets during the riots and stuff like that. After his Dominic Reyes fight, vacated his title during this time, completely gave up his title because he said he wants to focus on the heavyweight division. It's weird, no? If you were going to go up to the heavyweight division, Jon Jones, surely you'd want to be champ, no? You'd want to keep a hold of that belt, because I'll tell you this, there wasn't like a situation where Conor McGregor was fighting Floyd Mayweather and it was an absolute shambles in the lightweight division. I mean, Jan Blachowicz had earned his title shot, and some people think that Dominic Reyes had earned another shot at the title shot because they all thought that he beat Jon Jones because they have eyes. But there was no like, oh, it's such a logjam, we've got to get things going in the light heavyweight division. Jon Jones could have waited an extra couple of months to make his heavyweight debut with that light heavyweight title around his waist and have the champ fight that we all wanted to see for so long. He vacates his belt. He goes back to college. Yeah? He becomes a vigilante. He's still taking time out, and not to mention, not only does he vacate his belt to go up to the heavyweight division, but he decides to go up to the heavyweight division at a time when he knows that Stipe has to first get past a rematch with Francis Ngannou, and if Curtis Blaydes beats Derek Lewis whenever they rebook that fight, if Blaydes beats Lewis, Blaydes is going to want a title shot as well. So it's a real situation at heavyweight right now where it's a logjam. Not the usual time a champion from a below division would jump straight to the top of the division above when there's so many contenders to finally get their title shot, either for the first time in Curtis Blaydes or again in Francis Ngannou with a rematch of Stipe Miocic. So Jon Jones vacates his belt, doesn't want champ status, goes back to college. He could have just defended against Jan Blachowicz. One more title defense. And then have champ status for the heavyweight debut once the heavyweight division has sort of worked itself out a little bit and we've not got so many top contenders looking for title shots. But Jon Jones doesn't do any of that. And now he's been out and probably will be out for over a year. And USADA, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And it never made any sense to me what Jon Jones' game plan was here, because it seemed like it was all just detrimental to an eventual heavyweight debut. Don't fight for a while, step out of the game completely in all of the headlines, lose your belt, and give away your light heavyweight title for nothing? Jon Jones? A guy who's had his title stripped from him for something that he thinks he's innocent of? He would just give it up for no reason? So that when he becomes heavyweight champion in his own eyes, if he believes he's going to become heavyweight champion, he'd only have one belt and wouldn't be a champ in history? It's weird, and USADA is not allowed to tell us, unless Jon Jones tells us that, you know, that pulsing thing that USADA said was going to be around for probably the rest of Jon Jones's career. They came out and said that. USADA came out and said, this is a thing that's pulsing in his system. We don't know when it's going to pop up. We don't know how much of it is going to pop up. It could be any sort of measurement under a certain limit at any certain time, and we'll see how it goes, but we're going to monitor it closely. They literally said that. This could come around back again at any time. These picograms of turinabol or whatever it was in Jon Jones' system can pulse, can be gone for 2 fights and come back in another fight. What if Jon Jones pulsed a little bit of another picogram over the limit, and now USADA and Jon Jones are deciding to keep things on ice for an entire year, and we will never know about this when he comes back next year. I'm just putting the information out there, just on the odd chance that I might be correct here, because as I said at the start of the video, and I'm getting a bit crazy here because I've been thinking about this for a couple of days now, and it's been playing on my mind. As I said before, I'm not saying that this has happened. I'm just saying it's very strange, all of the moves that Jon Jones has made recently. And I wouldn't be surprised if we find out at the end of the year, since his Reyes fight, that maybe there was an enhanced amount of picograms in his system during that Reyes fight that didn't maybe necessarily improve his performance, but still they were in his system, and USADA doesn't like that it was in his system. So time to take a year off for no fucking reason, Jon Jones, and vacate your light heavyweight title and just give it away? To the guy you beat? Not just to Jan Blachowicz versus someone else in a division that's a dangerous guy, but Dominic Reyes, in Jon Jones' mind, in only Jon Jones' mind, and his coach's mind, Jon Jones beat Dominic Reyes. Only in Jon Jones' mind did he beat Dominic Reyes. But in Jon Jones' mind, I'm going to vacate my belt and give the opportunity to someone I have beaten to fight for that title in the light heavyweight division, so I can take a year out, go to college, fight crime on the streets, and move to heavyweight, which is log-jammed right now for the next few months, and we won't understand what's going to happen with the heavyweight division until April of next year. What if Jon Jones knew he had a 12-month suspension that none of us are going to know about, and just said, fuck it, I'll dip for 12 months and act like nothing's happening? And USADA won't tell anyone, because I haven't told anyone. So they're not allowed to tell anyone. Anyone else thinking this? Someone in the chat, whoever it was in the chat that mentioned this, thank you, because you've given me a video idea here. But I genuinely, as soon as you said it in my chat, my mind started fucking whirring together all of these situations over the past year now with Jon Jones. I think it's very likely. And I'd also like to know from USADA as well, if USADA's watching this. Hey, Jeff Novitzky. I know USADA probably... listen, if this is true that I'm saying this, USADA's watching this video. Jeff Novitzky's dripping beads of sweat off of his fucking nose watching this video as we speak, if this is true. So Jeff Novitzky, the Golden Snitch, if you are in fact watching this, can we maybe have a rule where after it's over, you tell us anyway? Because I don't quite know what the rules are. Because if you decide now what is a performance-enhancing drug, we've handed over so much power to USADA. If USADA can decide that guy's got something in his system that is a performance-enhancing drug usually, but we think that it's not enough to do anything. Because we haven't taken it, but we just think that it isn't enough. So we decide that he can't be banned for that. But Tim Elliott and Jamahal Hill can be banned for 9 months or 6 months for weed. But you can decide that Jon Jones' steroids, which are a performance-enhancing drug that he had in his system, but only a small amount of them, are not quite performance-enhancing enough for there to be a ban. I think it's a weird situation. Adesanya's growing breasts, and no one's answering. I could talk about Adesanya here. I could talk about Adesanya. He's grown a breast at 30 years of age, and he blamed it on weed. The weed doesn't give you breasts. The weed just makes you eat like shit and gain breasts overall from eating like shit. Trust me, I know about it. Okay? Adesanya blamed growing a female organ. I don't even want to say organ, sorry. Adesanya blamed growing a breast at the age of 30 on smoking weed. And no one gives a fuck. I don't know what's happening, and I'm worried. So just let me know if you feel the same way, because, yeah, USADA is... I don't know anymore, man. USADA's a risky business now. I think they might have a little bit too much power. Maybe it's time for Dana White to go into some of their offices and chuck a couple pieces of paper off the table and slap them into shape or something, because... Are they testing for EPO now? We don't know that. We don't know that. I assumed once they caught TJ Dillashaw on EPO, which he came out and revealed, USADA knew he had EPO in his system, but still it was on TJ Dillashaw to come out and reveal it on Twitter before USADA could say that he was actually on EPO. I don't know what's going on in the sport, but it's making me think about some stuff, okay? Alright, Adesanya's growing breasts. And he's inventing also a one-sided bra. I think it would break the scene, honestly. He could really make a fortune off of that, to be honest with you. Israel Adesanya's one-sided bras. I think it'd be a good feel, you know? Good deal. But still, probably half price as well, one-sided bra. But still, weird situation, you know? I thought they were testing everyone for EPO now, but not. They're not. So, what? I don't know what was going on, you know? Interesting times. Like and subscribe. Thank you for whoever said that in the live stream chat. Someone let me know who it was below. They deserve all the credit because they're the ones who came up with this, in my opinion. Goodbye. Toodle pip. Click that button up there. See you later. I'm not saying he did it, but it's just a chance nowadays. And I'm just pointing out that there is a chance that that is actually a thing. And no one's talking about this. See you later.